Welcome in, everyone. We are en route to ArcLabs Welding School. ArcLabs is a tech school that teaches and trains career professional welders in the industry, and they got a special guest in the house right now, NBS, National Boiler Service, who is administering their test to their students so that they can go to work. So we're gonna go stop in, see if we can't lend a helping hand and see what this whole process is about for getting certified with the National Boiler Service. Looks like everyone's testing over here with NBS. There he is. What's up, Will?
What's up, man?
How goes it, man?
Good, how are you?
Good. What we got going on over here?
Today's practice day, so they're getting ready to practice for their heavy wall test tomorrow. Right now they're working on the 344 wall. They can ask questions. I'll get in here and help them, run some beads, show them how I do it.
They got to stick it in that old dog there.
Oh yeah, it's 6G restricted, so they'll do their TIG root, TIG hot pass in that. And once they're done, they'll pull it out and put it in the 6G and 7018 it the rest of the way out.
You got time to talk about it real quick?
Sure.
National Boiler Service, the NBS, you guys work on boilers. And what is a boiler to someone who doesn't really know exactly what it is?
The boiler produces steam, and the steam powers whatever they're powering. And most of the time, it's it could be a turbine.
Or power cities.
Or cities. So it just depends on the actual boiler.
What's the smallest boiler you've seen?
When we say small boilers, probably about 10 stories tall.
Okay, big ones.
Big ones. We don't work on small ones.
The HRSGs, HRSGs, right? Yeah, I've been on a couple of those. I didn't know a whole lot about it. They just were like, these are the pipes we're welding though.
Yeah,
so it's good to know a little bit about it. So today these students are testing to be boiler welders, essentially. Tube welders.
Tube welders.
So they have to do this test here. This is the bread and butter, heavy, unlimited thickness, unlimited positions, all size pipe test. This is a combo weld.
Yes.
TIG stick.
Yep.
Certifies them all position structural stick, and it certifies them combo TIG and stick. And TIG all the way. That's a lot of stuff right here. So you really want these guys to pass this. Today, they're gonna be welding on something a little thinner. What is that?
344 wall.
So that's like schedule 80, 120?
80.
100, somewhere in there.
100, somewhere around
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah. But it's a little bit difficult because it doesn't hold as much heat as this, so you can really see their proficiency with just that.
Pretty much. If they can handle this and they have the skills to weld this, then they have the skills to weld this.
But not only they're welding this, but there's also a structural option too if they're not ready for the pipe.
Yes, we do the structural option, which is the 3/8 plate, open root, no back. They'll have to do stick, MIG, and flux core. They have to pass all three processes to come on as.
And you said this is a open root?
Open root. Our WPS says 1/64 of an inch.
Okay, so it's a back weld.
It's a back weld, yes. No backing, so they'll actually weld it, back gouge.
Do they have the option to grind?
Grind, yes. We call it back gouge or grind, so.
So just take it like, is that
yes.
Just grind that, tip that a little bit?
That's what today's all about, guys, is these students walking up to myself or William and the other ArcLabs instructors. We're pacing around. We're getting these students ready for test day, which is tomorrow. We're gonna try to get them all lined out for what they wanna do. If they wanna test structural, get them ready for that structural test. It's all back grind. So it is a fairly simple test compared to having to try to get an open root in all positions, because the trick to this structural stuff is they still have to weld 2, 3, and 4 with MIG, stick, and flux. To get the structural cert, you got to do it all.
You got to do it all, and that's we tell students if they come in on the structural, I let them know up front. That's what 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 bend tests. You'll do a root in the face.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Or you can weld pipe.
Or you can weld pipe. So.
Now we got a better understanding of what NBS is and what they do. Let's see if we can't help these students get lined out for tomorrow.
Absolutely, let's do it.
How you feel? Nervous? Why? It's practice. You got a pretty big cup for this whole thing, right? If you get a mini rig, that's a smaller torch, it's better for this type of work, but we can still do this. Put a bigger cup on so you'll be able to get more stick out. You got a tin cup? Yeah. Put a tin cup on there. We'll be able to have a little bit more stick out as we come through this area and be able to reach a little further. And then I'll come here and show you. Check it out, we got our tin cup on. We're gonna have a little extra stick out. Typically I'd wanna run a mini rig. Got our gas on, 90 amps, should be plenty. You got a piece of wire for me, some 1/8. What I like to do for a restrictor test on that root pass, as I do come in from the top, my hand's up here. If I come in from down there, obviously I'm not gonna make it very far. So I'm gonna have to have this here, but my face still needs to be under these tubes. Probably where you're gonna stop, I like to be staring, look, right at this tube. Because at one point I'm gonna have to peek up and over. You see right here where I can't see? Because this is still too tall for me. If I get to pick where it goes, I'm gonna put that sucker a little bit lower. Now remember, can't move it. It's gotta stay right here. But that little inch drop for me is gonna help me from where I'm standing, sitting at it like this. I can see it here, and then I can stand up a little bit more on my knee and see how far I'm reaching that tungsten. You gotta come from the top. You can't see that. That's the point of this restrictor. Well, if you're trying to weld as much as you can in one pass, you gotta be able to jump around that real quick, all right? And remember, this is all body positioning. Staring right at the side of this tube, then I'm gonna lean in, strike up, and you're like, oh wait, I can't really see. It's okay to snap out. So if you're planning on stopping, it's wise to pull out to a bevel. So now that we've got a little bit in, I'm uncomfortable. I can probably see this point now. I got the hardest part of that bottom down. Now I'm gonna be freehanding, looking kind of through this point right here. This is where I'll be staring and watching the backside of that root. As I rotate this hand, kind of like this, I'm pointing back at that weld, and then I'm waiting until I hit that cup into this here, and then I'm just doing my best to get as far as I can. Your turn. You're getting it. I'm gonna turn you up a little bit. Turned you up 5. Now you're just gonna make sure you're reaching with that cup as far as you can. You're getting a damn good root in there. What you nervous for? You got it figured out. Now rip out. Yeah. That's good. I like to freehand this part. Is come in from the top, stay in front of it, and you're just gonna tap on that weld right here, and you're just gonna put that root in, just like that. Okay, but you're gonna need to probably come on my side. Straight from the top. We're just trying to get to the top tack. There you go. Make sure you get that whole spot nice and molten before you introduce any filler metal. And you don't have to feed into this part as much, being that you're on the top of the tube. Gravity will do it. Just try to stick to your edges. Yep. You don't even need to go that wide. Just keep a really close arc length and keep that wire in that puddle. You can move the wire around. You don't have to move the torch around as much. If you go too wide on your root pass, you're gonna end up sucking back that root or not getting the reinforcement you want. It's in there. What are you worried for? You had it the whole time.
Yeah, I'm thinking if I should bridge tack it, but
I wouldn't bridge tack it, because if you're gonna try to bridge tack the coupon, how are you gonna get your grinder in there to cut the tacks out? And you can do it 2 ways. You can tack the coupon on top and bottom, full pin tacks. You can make them a little longer, right? They can be like, I don't know, 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch long. And you can put them either on your sides, so that whenever you got an open bottom, you come up to that side, you have to kind of work less in between the tube, or you could put them on the bottom and leave your side open and try to stretch. But you don't want to really bridge tack it, because you're not gonna be able to get a grinder in there to cut those back out. Like I said, no more than like 1/2 inch, 3/4 is kind of like, all right, you're kind of putting a root in it now. Now you get to pick your poison, whether you want the sides next to the tubes to be easier to tie into, or the top's easier to tie into. But as long as you're holding your heat, it'll be fine. No bridge tacks. Can, I just don't recommend it.
it's a lot more comfortable for real.
You gotta be comfortable. Now you got two solid tacks, right? Nice and tied in. Hey, you got a nice even gap. Now we can get our restrictor put up where we want it. I like to keep my pipe, get a baseball batting stance. This is your strike zone. Right? That's where you want your coupon. If it's too high, you ain't gonna see the top. If it's too low, you're gonna break your back. Put it in your strike zone, and you should be all right.
I fed it too much, so it's like the root is fat.
Woo, yeah, that's above 1/8.
That's a heavy one. Sides and the top, you shouldn't be feeding no wire.
Are you laying the wire or are you feeding it in? When I come to the top, I just lay the wire, or I always dab mine in, because that way I can dab it in and move it out and see. Dab it in, move it out and see. You're not gonna get that out of there. You'd have to cut that all the way out and fix it. That little bottom quarter section down here looks great. It's perfect.
You should be trying to feed that rod in the bottom, which you are. You were definitely feeding rod there on the top. It doesn't need it. You just need to get that wire across the gap, and gravity is going to give you the reinforcement you want. So if you find yourself on the sides and the top and you're feeding wire, you just put a nugget in there. Almost every time.
Every time. So you weld this bottom quarter, right? And then come get me when you're top, and I'll weld the top and show you.
How you doing in here, man?
I'm all right. How you doing?
Good. You got your 2G going on, huh?
Yeah, I'm getting a little BBs. Is that because I'm burning too hot?
You're running 7018, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you see all these nuggets and stuff. This is what's called arc flow. It has to do with the electrical fields that are in this plate and the fact that we're using electricity to weld. It doesn't happen at the beginning, but it happens at the end, don't it?
Yes, sir.
Weld the other way.
Okay.
I'm telling you right now, weld from left to right with one rod and see if it happens. I bet it won't.
This angle is new to me.
Yeah, I know. I can tell you why whenever you're done. But you see there's no more BBs.
Right.
got nothing to do with you. It's got everything to do with where that ground's located, the position of the plate. What's happening is there's magnetic fields in this plate, and as you're getting towards the end, they get tighter, 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 and it's making your arc do funny shit.
Right.
Well, when you change that and move it this way, it reverses that, and it gets it out of your plate for you. Okay, that's called arc flow. You can do this, you can move your ground, you can heat up the plate, you can weld backwards. You can do a couple things to remove arc flow. Fun facts. You ever watch the YouTube channel Weld.com?
I was actually going to tell you, I like watching your videos.
Thanks. So we're going to be same amperage and everything. I'm going to stand where you're standing because I'm right-handed just as you are. And I'm going to let you finish the top little piece. I'm just going to kind of maneuver this little bit. Whoop. Love it. I love walking into a student's booth and stick a rod. Makes me look great. So what I'm going to do is just quick side to side. I'm looking for those edges to fill in. Really tight arc length. Getting out to those edges, I'm doing zigzags pretty quick, but not letting that outside edge go over my bevel edge. But the important part is we just get to those sides and keep a really close arc length. Like I'm almost pretty sure that if you kept a little slower travel speed on that pass that you just did, you probably could have got it to where it is now. Even I had to go a little faster from what was underneath it. The main thing is closer arc length and really focusing on those toes. I'm gonna watch you do the rest of it. Oh, we need another rod, huh? All right, here's a couple. Yep, just like that. You can go side to side really fast, just don't go up too fast. You see how it's really filling in? Get a little closer. There you go. You see how you get a little bit more control if you stay nice and close? To really get a hone in on this welding stuff, you want to be able to carry more metal if you can. That's less time for you sitting there welding and more time for sitting waiting for the next weld. Perfect. That's what I want to see ready before your cap, okay? There's a lot of talent back there in these booths right now, man. They're nervous getting started.
Real nervous.
All of them. They were like, put that pipe in the restrictor, they're like, now what? You just weld it, man.
Just weld it.
Just weld it.
Act like it's not even there.
Use it to whatever advantage. It's the T-Rex arm thing that we talked about. Use that restrictor to your advantage so that you can keep your arms on it. Like you said, use more of your lower body, but keep it nice and tight. And once they figure that out, a little bit of tungsten stick out for those with the bigger torches, I think that helped them out a lot.
They're real nervous.
Weld quality wise, are you looking for wedding rings? Are you looking for perfect caps? Are you looking for perfect reinforcement?
We understand that these guys are green, fresh out of school. They don't have the on-job experience. They've only been doing it for however long they've been in school, whether it be 6 months, a year, whatever the case may be. But we're not looking for that perfect wedding band ring, but we are looking for someone we can work and build up to get to that quality.
You need
level.
a good hand.
We need a good
Not
hand.
only a good
Not
welder.
only a good welder, a good hand. You know how it is on jobs. When it gets slow or above schedule,
If there ain't no pipe to weld, they're not gonna have you just sitting there.
Exactly. Like I said, I'll be the highest paid janitor on this job site if you need me to be. I'll push the broom. I'll clean the machines, do what you need, and
I'll hold the pipe fitter's pocket with a crescent wrench and run around. I'll do all that.
It's not only welding you're going to be doing. It's a lot of other things, and that's what we're looking for too. Having that good attitude, that go-getter attitude.
Showing up on time.
Showing up on time. Exactly. Every day. That's the biggest thing. Show up on time.
Every day.
Every day.
And it's a travel job, so they got to be kind of aware it's a different lifestyle living on the road like that. NBS does good about getting people out there.
Like I said, 100% travel, we go nationwide. Most of our jobs is the Southeast region, so, for here in Texas, they don't have to travel as far, but it's all traveling. You're not gonna be home every night. You've been there and I've been there.
You save that money, because you get out there, you make the money, and you're not home. And that's the benefit of being not home. You're not paying any bills. Like you should be trying to consolidate all your finances and be smart about it. I wasn't.
Exactly, so if you're smart with your money, you can afford to take 2, 3, 4 months off and then go back to work. You could do that. So I try to give them the advice, learn from our experience that, we were all young and dumb at one point too. So I try to give them that little tip of advice.
Now, where do you learn to train for something like NBS? Where do you get trained?
You can get trained anywhere. We're here at ArcLabs. I keep coming back because their quality of instructors that they have, they kind of go above and beyond, teaching them what they're going to learn out in the field and kind of give them real life scenarios with the outdoor simulators, and they're not just in the booth all day, every day.
Awesome opportunity for them to, even if they don't pass or even if they not even want to do it, the experience that they're getting just to weld like this is just invaluable. So I appreciate what NBS and what you're doing, man. Thanks ArcLabs for letting us come out and everything that you guys do for the industry as far as training the next generation. We'll see you guys on the next weld. On those big boilers, but where else are there boilers? Because it's not always that big.
They're not, ones we work on are that big.
Okay.
They're massive. So
Walk right into my shop, bro.